spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge, nieces, nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, calling stat daddy supreme. On just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jazz to takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat Daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight Night Kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon. We just had the weigh-ins for UFC Vegas 107. And boy, it was, it's a low-level card. And a lot of times on the low-level cards like this one, you get a lot of unprofessional fighters. And we had several of them. We got an officer down, ladies and gentlemen. Trevin Giles has fallen. I don't know if he could get back up or not, but he's off the card after falling down. We got Macy Chason and Ketlin Vieira fighting at 145 pounds, even though there's no featherweight division anymore in the UFC for women. And we've got Macy Barber missing weight, and she's one half of the main event. So it was and Alon Nascimento, who has not fought in now 28 months. Because he's been fighting at the wrong weight class for his entire career. He's too big to be a flyweight, and he didn't make weight, which was very predictable. It was one of the things that I was telling my Odd Shopper community when we broke down these fights on Wednesday night on Balls Deep Breakdowns was, that we got to wait until we see both fighters on the scale before we make any moves on that fight. And yeah, of course, Nascimento didn't make weight. He's at the wrong weight class. He's been injured. I think his career might be done at this point. I just don't. Nobody seems to be able to tell him. Like, why do I know that he's a bantamweight and yet nobody in Brazil does? I'm so far away. I haven't seen the guy fight in 2.5 years. I know he's a bantamweight, but Alon doesn't know. The folks at Shootbox don't know. We're doing the same exact thing with Daniel Santos. Willie Cat Santos was not a bantamweight. He's a featherweight, and he refuses to stop killing himself and keep cutting down to fucking 135, and he's having problems because of it. So it's a low-level card. It's a very, very greasy card. Brady and I were talking about it on Stat Diggers, that this is going to be the kind of card you're going to want to not have a lot of units on. And I didn't have a lot of units on it, but the one spot I was sure about was that Gustafsson was going to shave Giles' ass. And he didn't even have to. I'll let the cat out of the bag. The ass shaving of the week this week was Gustafsson to shave the ass of Giles. And that's how good of a capper I am, everybody. It didn't even need to get to the cage. Giles found out that he was on the wrong end of the ass shaving of the week, and he literally shaved his own ass and fell down backstage. And the doctors were like, it's over. Weezy was right. So that's why I'm number one, you guys. So just soak it in. You're lucky I'm here today to break down these fights for you fools. But all kidding aside, this is a rough one, you guys. This is a rough one. I'm not going to have barely any tracked action on this card. I've broken down 2 fights that haven't happened. I've got these super long involved fight write-ups on Balaji Oki versus Markel Medeiros, which isn't happening. On Trevin Giles versus Gustafsson, which isn't happening. And then we got a Nascimento who's probably not even going to get cleared to fight. So, it's an absolute mess of a card. But let's break it down. what we're going to do today is I am going to give you a very quick full card breakdown. You'll see all my official picks for this week. I'll give you the dog pick of the week this week, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, which has already cashed, so you're welcome. And then we're going to do a Greasy 4-leg parlay. Got a little bit of meat on the bone this week. And then I'm going to talk to you guys and answer any questions that you have in the chat and see how you all are doing. And maybe we can figure out a way to make a little bit of money on this card. So stay tuned, everybody. I've got, just so you know, there is a link in the description of this video to a 50% off coupon to your first month's membership of my Odds Shopper probability stats and content package, which has all of my official content on it. I've already done almost 4 hours of content for my people that support me financially this week. So if you want to be a part of that, you can get your first month's membership for only $12.50 instead of $25 for the first month. And if you click on that link, it'll take you to Odds Shopper, which is a phenomenal site. If you do any kind of gambling on any other sports besides MMA, Odds Shopper has some phenomenal content out there, a lot of it free. So that's where I'm going to be putting all my content from now on. I'm no longer with Dub Club. I'm no longer posting to the Patreon. So all of the content going forward, the pay-per-view content, is going to be on the Odds Shopper community. And if you want to support my work, the best way to do that is to click that link in the description of the video and join up, and you will get access to the 4 hours of video content that I've already done this week on this card. Some of it now useless, but some of it, a lot of it, still very useful. And you'll get access to my fight write-ups, which are really phenomenal. I mean, we talk about the trends for each fight. You could see the last 5 fights, win-loss method, the betting line. You could take a look at their winning or losing streak, their momentum, the layoff. A great new segment in here is something where I'm doing the betting line information history that you have for each fighter on the card in terms of their overall record, their average line, and their return on investment for all of their UFC fights, for the ones where they're priced as a favorite and for the ones that they're priced as an underdog, so that you could see how they perform in certain roles. And it's those kind of trends are very useful if you're trying to do some deep analysis and really kind of get an edge on the books in terms of finding where the recency bias is, finding some of that information that's just not widely available on the net. It's going to all be available on my probability stats and content package due to the phenomenal amount of statistics that we have here for matchups, for divisional benchmarks, the over-under betting model, the prop betting model, all the individual stats, which includes all the DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, and underdog stats per minute, per fight. How many points do they score per win? How many points do they score in pure striking per minute? How many points do they score in grappling? You know, and you can do it if you play all of those DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, underdog. All this is very extremely useful information if you like to use analytics. So I'd love to see some people join up by the time I'm done here working for free for you guys. So if you want to support the work, check out that link in the description of the video. But let's do this quick full card breakdown for you guys here. And we're going to start with the first fight of the night, Hayani Dos Santos versus Alice Ardeline. I think this line is coming in a little bit. I think Dos Santos probably is the better fighter. She's definitely the better grappler. She's been the busier fighter, more experienced, and she's younger. So I think that this is a decent spot for her. She should be able to win, but one of the things that if you subscribe to the Odds Shopper community and you're looking at the information available in the fight write-ups, this is scary here when you look at her. Overall, she's 0-2 in the UFC, and the average line is minus 228, which is right around where her money line is. And with that average line, she's 0-2 in the UFC. She probably did win the fight against Tomar, but she left enough doubt there in order to screw over everybody that backed her. It was a close fight against Talita Alencar too, but she didn't do what she needed to do to set herself apart as a favorite in that fight. So she's blown it as a minus 350 favorite. She's blown it as a minus 150 favorite. And now here she is at minus 250-ish versus Ardeline, who's somebody who's pretty optically looking good to the judges because she's aggressive. She throws punches with hate in her heart, and she scrambles and she can wrestle a little bit. And, she's just she's just kind of there. She's not very good, but I kind of feel like she's exactly the kind of fighter that if Hayani Dos Santos doesn't do anything to put stamps on rounds, which we haven't seen her do yet at this level, that Ardeline can sneak in here and maybe cash as a slight underdog. But the pick for this week, if we go over here to my official picks on there we go. Okay. I'm going with Hayani Dos Santos by decision, but I think that her submission prop at around plus 500 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook is also a pretty good look this week. The next fight, Bolaji Oki versus Michael Aswell. We I got Oki around minus 360, Aswell around plus 300. The under 2.5 rounds earlier in the week was sitting around plus 120. I didn't really break down this fight, but I've seen Aswell fight. He's damn good. He's a featherweight. He's been fighting in Fury FC for his entire career, and he's the Fury FC featherweight champion at the moment. Good fighter all around. He's got excellent cardio, excellent durability, very good output, and he can really put a pace on his opponents and break them later on in fights. This guy's got 5-round experience, but he wasn't scheduled to fight for another month. So he took this fight on Wednesday was when this fight was made. So Markel Medeiros was the original opponent for Bolaji. So whenever there's a fight that's made on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, not only do I not break it down, I'm not going to bet on it because the amount of variance that goes into those fights is just something I don't even want to be a part of, because as difficult of a task as this is for Michael Aswell, making his UFC debut on 3 days' notice, he's making his weigh-in on 2 days' notice. That's going to be just extremely difficult for him to be able to perform at the kind of level that we're used to seeing him perform at on tape when he has a full camp. In addition, Oki's been training for a completely different opponent in Markel Medeiros, and this fight wasn't made until Wednesday. So who knows when Oki got the notification that Medeiros was going to have to pull out of this fight. So he's had no time to research this opponent, to kind of shift a game plan for how you're going to deal with this opponent, because why shift the game plan when you trained the original game plan for the last 6 weeks? So there's a lot of variance here, but Aswell is coming up a weight class here, and we saw Oki when he fought Kawamba under very similar circumstances, where Kawamba was a short notice opponent who took the fight on a very short period of time, not like 3 days notice, but maybe a week and a half, less than 2 weeks notice. So, and Oki was just bigger than him. He was more physical than him, and he was able to just kind of out jab him, outwork him. And I don't think that Aswell is going to be able to kind of close the distance here without paying for it. I love the way Oki goes to the body. He's got an excellent jab, and he's got power in his punches, and he's got capability to mix in the wrestling as well. So I think that Bolaji Oki is going to win this fight, and I think he's going to win it by decision because Aswell has never been finished as a professional. And the 2 fights that I have seen him fight in were the Bogdan Grad fight and the Yadier Del Valle fight. And unfortunately, those were his only 2 losses. So I haven't even seen this guy win a fight yet. And that's on me because I wasn't able to do the research this week. But what I have seen from Aswell is even when this guy is losing fights, it looks like he might be winning them. So he's clearly a very good prospect. And I'm pretty sure that the UFC kind of had their eye on him as a short notice replacement after the show that he put on Dana White's Contender Series fighting Bogdan Grad. So I'm going with Oki by decision, but man, I'm not laying the minus 360. And if I were to bet this fight, it would definitely be a Michael Aswell money line bet at plus 300. I think that's a good play this week, but I'm just not going to make it because, like I say, didn't have time to research the fight with them making it like midday on Wednesday. I was already ready to do all my content for the week at that point. So yeah, Oki by decision is going to be the official pick, but not playing it. The next fight was Officer Trevin Giles going up against Gustafson. This fight is not going to happen, you guys, unfortunately. Gustafson, KO3. I thought he was going to break him late in the fight. And Gustafson was the ass shaving of the week this week. So I had a bet on Gustafson's money line in a parlay, and I had a bet on Gustafson to win by KO at plus 170. The next fight, Jordan Levitt versus Kurt Holloway, and this line just keeps going, man. Where is it now? Jordan Levitt is now minus 250, and Kurt Holloway is plus 210. At this point, this is clearly a dog or pass situation for me. I'm picking Jordan Levitt to win this fight by decision, and he probably does win this fight, you guys. Kurt Holloway just he's like the male Vanessa Demopoulos. He has zero takedown defense. You know, like a stiff breeze will knock him off of his feet. And like he's got like C. Montgomery Burns takedown defense. It's just not very good. Every place else, Holloway's good. He's got a very dangerous guard when he's off of his back. He's got great pressure and volume when he's on the feet. And he's extremely experienced and well-tested. So, and very durable as well. So Holloway is always going to push you and make you fight. Now, Jordan Levitt's been away from the cage for about a year and a half now. So he's not the kind of guy you want to be laying minus 250 on. I think he wins this fight because Holloway's takedown defense is so bad. But Jordan Levitt's conditioning has always been below average, in my opinion. And Kurt Holloway is not a guy you want to get tired against. Because if you make a mistake on the ground against him, he can submit you. And if you get tired on the feet against this guy, he's going to walk you down and he's going to put combinations together. He's going to rip to your body, and he's going to have the ability to be able to finish you. Kurt has finished a ton of wins. I believe 10 submission wins, 7 KOs without looking at it. Kurt Holloway is definitely a finisher. So, you know, I don't like Levitt here. This is clearly dog or pass on the money line. It's getting to the point where I might have to get involved on the Holloway side and throw a unit on him if it keeps going to like plus 225, plus 230, because I can't lay the kind of juice on Levitt because well, here, let's just go over it real quick. I'll show you some of the stats for this fight that are bothering me on the Levitt side. Number one, the takedown accuracy just hasn't been there. He's attempting 9.2 takedowns per 15 minutes, which is really good, but he's only getting 2.1 of them. So he's got 22% takedown accuracy. You see that he's attempting 9.2 takedowns, but he's only seeing 3 against. So he's attempting over 75% of the total takedowns in his fights, but he's only winning 51% of the control time positions. So Holloway might actually be able to get back up against Levitt, but I think Levitt's the much better offensive and defensive wrestler, and I think he's the better scrambler. And I like the fact that obviously he's like 9 years younger than Kurt is. So, yeah, I'm picking Jordan Levitt. I'm picking him to win this fight by decision. But there's a lot of ways that this could go tits up for Jordan. If he gets hit on the feet, this guy's been having concussion problems, so I'm worried about his durability. If he gets tired from having to push a grappling heavy pace where Holloway is actually starting to give him some problems, is making him work, I could see him getting finished in the second half of the fight. If Levitt is unable to control him on the ground because he's too aggressive going for submissions, if he gets swept, if he goes for submissions unsuccessfully and winds up on the bottom, I think that Kurt could do a lot of damage with his ground and pound and his striking to where he might be controlled for 3.5 minutes of the round, but the 1.5 minutes that he's not being controlled, he's landing so many strikes that he's banking the round. So I'm picking Levitt, but I am saying that Holloway's the side from a gambling perspective. Maybe even like a Holloway round 3 prop could be cheeky as hell this week. I think that there's some, really high upside plays that you can make this week on this card because it's such a shady fucking card. But, sometimes when you put together 5 or 6 of those plays, if none of them hit, then at the end of the night, you get rinsed. So it's something you kind of got to be careful about. But yeah, Levitt by decision's the pick, but I think Holloway's the side from a gambling perspective. Jafel Filio versus Alan Nascimento. We got Filio plus 126, Nascimento minus 146, and the fight doesn't go to decision at plus 105. I'm going with Filio here by decision. Nascimento's never been finished. He's always been very durable. But the one thing that Nascimento really has problems with is just flat out making it to the scales. The guy is, like I said earlier in the show, he's a bantamweight in a flyweight's body, and he refuses to move up a weight class. And as a result of that, he constantly has to pull out of fights. He constantly misses weight. He's just not very professional. And being over there at Shoot Box, where they have such brutal sparring sessions, the guy's constantly hurt too. So activity is a big part of this sport. Ring rust is a real thing. And the layoffs being 1-2 years long, it's not as concerning when you're in your 20s, but when you're in your 30s and you can't make weight anymore, and you've missed, you've pulled out of 8 of your last 10 scheduled fights. There's really not much we can do for Nascimento in terms of, like, why would we lay juice on a guy who's not even fit to fight? He's not even fit to make it to the cage in the first place. Now, this is the hard part. Now that he got past weigh-ins and he wasn't even able to make weight, and he clearly killed himself too because he was one of the last people to get to the scales. He's still in the saunas while all these other people that are truly professionals and fighting at the right weight class are actually rehydrating and getting ready. This guy Nascimento is unable to do that. So I can't have any faith in this guy right now. And frankly, when you watch the tape, I think Nascimento is a little bit better than Filio everywhere, but a little bit. And the problem is that if he doesn't get a submission, this guy's not good at winning minutes. He lost minutes to Tagirulambekov. He lost minutes to Jake Hadley. That fight was pretty close. Jake Hadley won a round against that guy, and Nascimento kept getting put on his back because he kept putting himself there by being submission over position. So I think Filio is going to be able to successfully grapple with this dude. And because Nascimento is so comfortable off of his back, I do think that Filio is going to be able to land the bigger shots on the feet and win more minutes on the mat here. So I'm looking for a Jafel Filio decision here. And I think he might be the first person to finish Nascimento because Nascimento is 33 years old. He can't fight anymore, you guys. This guy is pulled out of 4 consecutive fights with injuries or botched weight cuts or illnesses. And he just botched another fucking weight cut. This guy pulls out more than Ron Jeremy and Peter North combined. So Jafel Filio by decision is the pick there. Next one, Zach Reese going up against Dusko Todorovic. This one is going to be violence personified. I could see a Zach Reese early finish. I could see a Dusko Todorovic early finish. But I'm picking Todorovic here to win by second round knockout, going with a big upset, because I think there's a couple of holes in Zach Reese's game that I'm really worried about for a guy that has less than 30 minutes of professional MMA cage time. So this guy is still fairly new to the sport, but he's already lost twice. And in those 2 losses, he's been knocked out brutally, knocked out cold. That is very bad, you guys. Your chin does not improve after you get concussed. So we've seen Reese concussed a couple of times by Bakoyev, by Brundage with that brutal slam. And what I don't like about Zach Reese, in addition to that, is that this guy trusts his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu so much that he's very easy to take down. And Dusko is a guy that if he gets on top of you, he has 3 wins in the UFC. All 3 wins come by way of ground and pound. This guy, if he gets on top of you, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, I believe, and his ground and pound is excellent. So I think that Reese might go for a submission or here early in the fight, and if he doesn't get it, we saw that he can't get back up, and we also know that his durability is very much in question. So while I know that Zach Reese is going to be crazy dangerous early in this fight, he's huge for the division. He's got power in his strikes. He's got very aggressive Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The cardio is still a little bit of a question mark, but the durability, because I think one of the reasons that people are shorting Dusko this week is that his durability is not good. He's been knocked out in 3 of his 4 losses here, or he's got 5 losses, and he's been knocked out, I think, 4 times or 3 or 4 times, but one of them's a knee injury. But the brutal knockouts have come. Chidi knocked him out brutally. Mansour Abdul Malik knocked him out brutally. But, Chidi would knock out Reese. Mansour Abdul Malik would knock out Reese. So I don't think that Reese has done anything to prove that he's a minus 230 favorite here, meaning that he's around 70% implied to win this fight. So I like the Todorovic money line this week, and I love a Todorovic KO prop, which was at plus 475 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook earlier this week. And here we go. Ketlin Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. A couple of handsome lads here that have moved up to 145 pounds to fight. And yeah, I think that they're very well matched. These are two very high-level fighters for the women's bantamweight division. And if they both wanted to move up, hey, more power to them. They get to cut less weight, and we'll get to see a better fight because they could be the better versions of themselves because they didn't have to kill themselves to get down to 136 pounds. So Chiasson Vieira, I think that these ladies are going to be really well matched on the feet. I think Macy's going to do the better work in the clinch here. And I think that for me, is the crux and the reason to bet Chiasson because I think that they're going to be, while this fight is at distance striking range, I think it's going to be difficult to tell who's winning. But both of these ladies spend a lot of time in control time positions, and Macy and Ketlin spend a lot of time in clinch striking positions. And I want to highlight this. These stats are available once again on my probability stats and content package here. We see Ketlin Vieira. I have offensive clinch and ground striking stats here in the defensive, and you can see that Ketlin is getting outstruck in these situations. She's landed 94 significant clinch strikes, but she's absorbed 147. So in the clinch, Ketlin's losing minutes. We saw her lose minutes against Holly Holm there. We've seen her get put there a lot. And Macy's much bigger than her. On the mat, Ketlin, 30 significant ground strikes landed, 86 absorbed. So she's landing about 1.4 clinch and ground strikes per minute, but she's absorbing 2.6. So in these positions where we're going to find ourselves a lot here, Ketlin is losing those positions. And when you look at Macy, she's outlanded her opponents 120 to 84 in clinch strikes, and she's outlanded her opponents 94 to 36 in ground strikes. And when you look here at the advanced matchup, Ketlin's 5'8" and Macy's 5'11". So which one of these ladies do you think is going to benefit more from moving up to 145? Well, I think it's Macy. So she's shown a better ability to be able to win those minutes in the clinch and on the mat with her striking. Neither one of these ladies is going to be submitting ladies at this level a ton. It's going to be more of a club and sub situation or catching someone in the guillotine potentially. But I like Macy here to win because of the physicality and because of the ability to score points in the clinch with not only with control time, but with significant strikes. So yeah, Macy minus 125. That would be the play for me. The next fight, Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. This one's a fun one. I'm really looking forward to this fight. I'm going with a Jacoby decision. I think that this could play out fairly close, and I think that Bruno Lopez is a good prospect. Bruno's got very good conditioning. Bruno's got a very good ground game. He's got decent takedowns with the ability to be able to get it to the ground so that he can use his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's shown the ability to be able to win minutes in the clinch in his UFC debut against Gagiasulov, and he's got solid striking. He's not bad at distance striking range. But the thing is like Bruno kind of is able to find the weakness of his opponents, and he's able to kind of play to that. So if he's fighting a really good kickboxer, he's going to get his way into the clinch, and he's going to wear on you there and try to take you down and maybe exploit any holes in your ground game. If you're a very talented grappler, Bruno's going to keep the fight standing and try to outwork you on the feet. I don't think he's going to be able to beat Dustin Jacoby on the feet, even though Bruno's younger and even though Bruno's got really good power. And I think, Bruno might even be the more durable fighter. We've seen Dustin Jacoby get wobbled by a lot of different fighters here at the UFC level. But if you look at the guys that are wobbling him, and if you look at some of the guys that he's also been in there that never even hurt him once, it's kind of hard to say that Bruno's going to win minutes or moments at distance striking range in this fight. And then when you look at the fact that Dustin Jacoby is spending over a 13 fight sample size at the UFC level, this guy's spending 86% of his UFC octagon time at distance striking range, where he's doing the much better work. So Bruno Lopez trying to win minutes in the clinch and on the mat against somebody like Jacoby, who historically has done a phenomenal job of keeping fights standing. It's going to be a tall order for a guy who only has one UFC fight at this point. So I think Dustin is going to keep this fight standing. I think he's going to land some big shots. I think there's definitely a potential for a KO there, but I'm picking Dustin Jacoby to win this fight by decision. Next fight, banger alert. Really looking forward to this one. We got Ramiz Brahimaj and Billy Goff. I think Goff's going to get the job done here, but I think this is going to be one of the most fun first rounds on the card besides Reese versus Todorovic and potentially the Jacoby fight as well. Ramiz looked great last time out against Mickey Gall. And, that unfortunately, like I even had Mickey Gall in the Greasy four-legger that week because I'm just not a believer in Ramiz. And the market isn't either. I don't even think the market's being fair to Ramiz. And I'm not a big fan of his skill set either, to be honest with you guys. But they had him at they had Goff at like minus 500 right away when they opened this, I think, and I'm in like, really? Brahimaj plus 350 to fucking Goff? Goff doesn't have great wins on his resume, he's a brawler. He's not a phenomenally technical fighter. He's not really known for his fight IQ or like high levels striking or jiu-jitsu or wrestling. The guy, what Goff is known for is being a fan-friendly fighter who, like Andreas Gustafsson, who is off this card now, is just somebody that clearly loves to fight. And because of that, you can see the passion with which this guy fights out there. And that's why he's going to be such a fan-friendly fighter. It's why, I will be tuned in every time that Billy Ray Goff is on a UFC card. I will be watching whether I have money on it or not and just enjoying the violence that this guy brings to the cage. And Ramiz is a guy that has never been finished as a professional. He lost the Max Griffin fight because his ear basically was hanging by a thread and they had to save the ear. But like he wasn't close to getting knocked out there or anything like that. But the thing is that Brahimaj, if you look who he's fought against, like the guys that he's losing to, Max Griffin, Court McGee, Themba Gorimbo, they're not finishers. They're not guys that are going to go out there and just dick saw you. But Billy Ray Goff is a finisher. Billy Ray Goff is a guy who's going to go out there and dick saw you. He's going to go out there and literally either kill you or kill himself trying to kill you. So I do think that this fight's going to finish inside the distance. And I think that Goff's just, like full retard pressure and offense philosophy that this guy brings to the cage is going to really not only make a fan-friendly fight, but it'll probably be a very violent knockout for Billy Ray Goff in the second round is what I'm looking at in this one. But I can't wait to watch this fight. Next fight, Matheus Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein. We got Gamrot minus 150, Klein plus 130. Fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at plus 200 here. So the bookies, and I should not say the bookie, I should always say the market is expecting this fight to see the scorecards 2/3 of the time. So I got a Gamrot decision here. I really don't know how Klein's going to handle this step up in competition. And the one thing that we have not seen Klein tested yet at this level is somebody that's going to wrestle him like Gamrot will. I think that Klein's got great hips. I think that the guy showed, especially in the Moises fight, that he can have somebody deep in on a double leg on him, but still have that athletic ability, explosiveness, and good hips in order to find some space and explode his way out of there, or get an underhook and be able to stuff him. So, but Gamrot's not really like an explosive double leg guy. He's a low single leg guy, and then he gets you moving. And it's a different type of takedown defense than we've kind of seen Ludovic have to defend against at this level. Now, Klein is he's got a sneaky submission game. This guy's got a lot of wins by submission on the regional scene. We haven't really seen it yet at this level, but Gamrot is somebody that has been massively lined. If you look here, just at I think there's some interesting information here. Now he's 7-3 in the UFC overall, and his average line is -195. But he doesn't really pay off when he's a favorite. But look at his average line as a favorite. It's -267. That's a huge number, you guys. I mean, like, when this guy is a favorite, and that's over an 8-fight sample size at the UFC level. When you're talking about an average line of -267, you're saying like over 70%. You know, -300 is 75%. A 267 will probably be a 72% or so. So this guy's, when he's a favorite, he's a big fucking favorite. I mean, he was -250 versus Dariush. He was -200 versus Turner. -417 versus Dos Anjos. -420 versus Dan Hooker. So there's a couple of ways that you can look at that. Number one, the way that I was looking at it was I was just shorting this guy. I mean, like, every time I got a chance, I thought the market was overvaluing a guy like Gamrot, who loses a lot of moments on the feet. He gets clipped a lot, and his recoverability is really good. But if you're just crotch sniffing for 3.5, 4 minutes and not landing any significant strikes, and then you get up and that dude wobbles you and you're doing the stanky leg dance, you just lost the fucking round. So for a guy that you're basically looking to win by decision, you don't want to see them losing moments, and you want to see them really dominating in control time positions. But guess what? Over like almost 70% of Mateusz Gamrot's UFC octagon time is spent at distance striking range. So I think the market is really overvalued Gamrot, but I think that it caught up to him now, because we were seeing him at -420 versus a former champion in Dos Anjos. We were seeing him as -420 versus, you know, a top 10 guy in Dan Hooker, who's fought everybody in the division. Now you're getting him against a Slovak whose best win is Ignacio Bahamondes, and who was just fighting AJ Cunningham a couple of fights ago. So Ludovic Klein has looked great since moving up to lightweight. He's 6 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw since moving from featherweight up to lightweight. So we're seeing the best version of this guy, and he does have very good takedown defense. So I think he can keep this close. I think he can win some minutes minutes and moments on the feet. And he could potentially limit the grappling success of Gamrot and sneak this one out. But I have to see it to believe it first, because we just haven't seen Ludovic's wrestling and grappling defense tested at a level that Gamrot is going to test it at. And because of that, and because of Gamrot's last 5 opponents being Beneil Dariush, Jalen Turner, Rafael Fiziev, Rafael Dos Anjos, and Dan Hooker, and Ludovic Klein's last 5 opponents have been Roosevelt Roberts, Thiago Moises, AJ Cunningham, Ignacio Bahamondes, and he basically lost to Jai Herbert, but Herbert got served because he kicked him in the nuts once and poked him in the eye once. So Herbert got a point taken, and as a result, Ludovic walked away with a draw instead of a loss. So yeah, man, this is going to be a step up, and because of that, I got to go with Mateusz Gamrot to win by decision. Which brings us to the main event of the evening: Aaron Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber. We got Blanchfield sitting around -250 right now. Barber sitting around +210. Maycee missed weight. She looked definitely very drawn out on the scales. So definitely going to be difficult to back her right now, especially because Maycee Barber historically has had 50% takedown defense, and that's only against 2.7 takedown attempts against. So Barber is actually seeing less than the divisional average amount of takedowns against, yet she's being controlled at a 33% clip. So that means exactly 1 round out of every 3, Maycee Barber's back is up against the cage or it is on the mat, which means that she's losing minutes. And Aaron Blanchfield is somebody that when she does get on top of you, it's probably the round or the fight. She's very efficient. She only gets 1.9 takedowns per 15 minutes, less than 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. But with those 2 takedowns per 15 minutes, she's controlling her opponents almost 40% of her total octagon time, which is almost 2 hours at this point, 112 minutes of octagon time. And when you look at that rate of 39.3, we can do that real quick here. 112.9 times 0.393. And that's 44 minutes. 44 minutes that Erin Blanchfield is controlling her opponents. And then when you look at the ground striking numbers for Blanchfield, this is impressive. 104 to nothing in significant ground strikes. And she's very good in the clinch too, which is someplace that Macy's very good. But you look at Blanchfield, who's been out there against some big girls like Taylor Santos, some very physical girls like Jessica Andrade. She's outstriking them in the clinch 42 to 24. So I think that Blanchfield is going to be able to keep this fairly close on the feet. And I think if she gets just 3 takedowns over 25 minutes, I think that she's going to bank 3 rounds, and Erin's about as durable as they come. So I think it's going to be Erin Blanchfield, and I think it's going to be Erin Blanchfield by decision. But I think my favorite long shot prop of the week is Erin Blanchfield to win by knockout at plus 1150, because Erin Blanchfield has phenomenal top control. And while she's not going to knock her out on the feet, most likely, the ground and pound is excellent. We've seen her get her opponents in that crucifix position. If Macy gets tired, because she's never seen a 4th or a 5th rounder in her career, and this is the first time she's ever even been scheduled for 5 rounds, if she does get tired, and that's something that it could absolutely happen because Blanchfield, or because she had that bad weight cut that we could see today, maybe Blanchfield gets a late finish. But my pick is Erin Blanchfield to win by decision. So there we go. So yeah, there it is, you guys. The Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week this week is I'm going with Dushko Todorovic. It was between him or Filio, because those are the underdogs that I'm picking on this card. And there are a couple spots too. Like I think Hollowball has some value at the current price at about 210. But we got a favorite here in Blanchfield. I mean, I think Klein might be able to keep this fight close. Ramiz could be live at the price. I mean, it's a big wide line on Goff. Even Bruno, if he can have some grappling success in this fight, he could keep this very close if he has a good round in the clinch. And if he gets a takedown in another round and some top control, he could keep it close. But I like Jacoby there. Chaseon's a slight favorite. Todorovic is an underdog. Filio is an underdog. Levitt's a favorite, but I'm not laying the juice on him. Oki, big favorite, and then Dos Santos, a big favorite. So yeah, the Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week this week is the Dushko Todorovic money line. And unfortunately, we already cashed the ass shaving of the week, you guys. It was Andreas Gustafsson to shave the ass of Trevin Giles. Trevin Giles got word that he was the ass shaving of the week, and he shaved his own ass. He faked falling. But there's stories that it was an electrical cord or that he got a little woozy. No, it was a fake job. Like he knew that this was it. So yeah, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. Chalk it up. We cash it. You're welcome. Andreas Gustafsson already wins. And now after this brutal win over Trevin Giles, where he psyched him out mentally and knocked him out before the fight even started, it looks like maybe Andreas Gustafsson might be fighting next week because Chaos Williams needs an opponent after his opponent fell off. I forgot who it was. So, and I mean, I'd give you another ass shaving of the week, you guys, but frankly, it's not Gamrot. It never is ever going to be a woman again because they've broken my heart too many times. Goff is almost minus 400, so I'm not doing that. Jacoby, I'm picking a win by decision. Another female fight, so no thanks. Todorovic is the dog of the week. I think Filio might win, but it's going to be probably pretty close. Levitt, no thanks. Oki is minus 400. Can't do that in another women's fight. So there will be. Well, no, there was. Guys, we already cashed it. It's just that most of you that aren't on the odds shopper, you didn't get to cash it. But we had Gustafsson by KO. And Giles went down like a ton of bricks, and we had the Gustafsson money line, so that's already cashed. So the last thing that we're going to do is give you a Greasy 4-leg parlay. And boy, oh boy, is it going to be greasy. And what just happened? Oh my God. The first leg, you guys, which I wrote up before this started, Jafel Filio's money line at plus 127 has just moved to plus 105 here. So, yeah, Nascimento is, I mean, I think people realize that this guy's done for, and maybe there's action that people are seeing this guy, how he looks today. But Filio was plus 140 when I wrote the fight up earlier in the week when I suggested that I liked him to win. And let's see if it's moved everywhere else now. Filio is plus 114 on DraftKings. He is plus 117 on Bet Rivers. And Filio is still plus 130. I don't think that that's right, though. Let's refresh the page here. If he's still plus 130 on Caesars, it might be worth a bet at this point. Nope, he's down to plus 122 there. So money is flying in on Jafel Filio. He's the first leg of the parlay. It was supposed to be plus 127, but now it looks like it's plus 105 here on Bet River or on Bet Online. Yeah, you guys, I don't think that we're going to see the best version of Ilan Nascimento, and I don't think we've seen it for a very long time because the guy's never really been a flyweight. So I think Filio is going to do him in here and get the job done, and the market seems to be agreeing because we've seen a massive move in implied probability on the Jafel Filio side. Leg 2, a fight that I really do think is going to be very violent. I've got the fight doesn't start round 3 in my probability parlay this week, which is now down to 2 legs because Gustafsson is off the card. But yeah, under 1.5 rounds for Reese versus Todorovic at minus 185. Yeah, look, Reese is a finisher, you guys, and both of these guys have been knocked out an enormous amount of times. Dushko's been knocked out, finished, I think, 4 times at the UFC level, and Zach Reese has been brutally knocked out in both of his losses, and both of these guys are people who finish early in fights. So love this fight to finish and finish early. The market's onto it. It's juiced to the tits. But, you know, sometimes the reason that these things get this juiced is because it's really hard to see the fight going over 7.5 minutes, and you probably need better than plus 143 to clench your butt cheeks for that long. So I like the under here, and I think this is going to be a violent fight one way or another. And I also like the Todorovic money line. Leg 3, going with the Dustin Jacoby money line, sitting around minus. Oh, but this one moved to minus 175 from minus 200. So we're getting a trade-off. We got a much worse price on the Filio side, but we're getting a much better price on the Jacoby side. Minus 175 there. Like I said, Bruno is going to have to fight a perfect fight in order to win this fight. I don't think he's finishing Jacoby. So I think Bruno Lopez by decision is his best chance. But I think Jacoby's live for a knockout here. And I also think that Jacoby's live to just kind of outwork this dude at distance striking range, keep it at distance striking range, and just win a decision. So definitely like the Dustin Jacoby money line as leg number 3. And then a leg 4, something that we can hedge out on, is going to be the Aaron Blanchfield money line. I probably wouldn't have done this earlier in the week, but after seeing Macy on the scales, knowing that hasn't been healthy lately, and now she's had a rough weight cut, long layoff, rough weight cut, never been scheduled for 5 rounds, and 50% historical takedown defense. And she's historically been controlled for 33% of her UFC octagon time. And because she's such an aggressive striker, I think that's going to open opportunities for Aaron to find some of these takedowns that she gets usually from the clinch position. So Aaron Blanchfield's money line will be leg number 4 at minus 250. On Bet Online, this was earlier plus 634, but with the Filio move, we're at plus 595. Let's see what it'll be. So we're plus 114 for Filio, minus 188 for the under, Jacoby at minus 192, and Blanchfield at minus 245. So it's plus 602 on DraftKings. It's plus 595 there. Filio under 1.5 rounds here is what? You really aren't offering? What? How do you not have over-unders? Under 1.5 minus 180. All right. And then we just got to find the Jacoby money line. Jacoby minus 200. That's ass. And minus 240. So it's plus 621 on Bet Rivers Sportsbook. And if we were to go on Caesars, total rounds under 1.5. Let me look for the Jacoby money line. Minus 205. That's terrible. Blanchfield minus 230. And that parlay would be plus 630. So it's plus 630 on Caesars. It's plus 621 on Bet Rivers. It's plus 588 on DraftKings. And it's plus 595 on Bet Online. So we're gonna say Caesars. So plus 630. Plus 630 on Caesars. Sportsbook. Let's cash this thing. Yep, there we go. So we did it, you guys. Full card breakdown. Dog pick of the week, Dushko Todorovic. Ass shaving of the week already cashes. And then we got a Greasy 4-leg parlay that's coming out to plus 630 on Caesars William Hill Sportsbook. What's going on with you guys here? What's going on with you guys in the chat? Let's see who's hanging out with us here. Let's see here. We got Adi saying, seriously, does anyone see any real value? Let me rephrase. Rather, does anyone see any significant profit on this card? Weezy, how you doing, buddy? I'm doing good, man. No, I don't see a lot of profit. I mean, like if you get bets that cash, you're going to profit. But I just think that this is a good week to kind of keep your powder dry. You could tell that the scales were a bit of a mess this week. 4 fights affected by them. So, and then we had already, late pullouts and late replacements, as well as a late replacement. Giles was a late replacement. And, it's just a bit of a mess. I cannot see any locks that equal a parlay payday period. Bunch of nothing fighters equals low return. It's on investment. Another Dana special. It's an ESPN special is what I call it. It's like the contractual obligation. It's kind of like when you're jaded and you're close to being retired at work and you just show up. You're showing up. You half-ass your job. I mean, normally over the last 20 years, you've been using your whole ass. But now you're just using half of it. You're going in there, you're half-assing it. You're letting things get past you, And that's what you do when you're contractually obligated to give these pricks 42 events a year. Some of them are going to be like this. We got my guy Olajuwon Dream in the room saying the XP resets every stream. We got boy, oh boy, I can't wait to get Greasy. We got exclusive Oro saying thank you for the insight and generosity. In the middle of Balls Deep Breakdown, Breezy, Pussy, Ketlin's OnlyFans, Bunyan Feet, lock it in. Yeah, shout out Stat Diggers, man. We got Dixon saying apparently Giles fell and hit his head during weight cut, so doctors called it off. The ass shaving of the week cashes, Dixon. We got my guy, the Milkman, saying let's get these milkings and pipings cashed, Weezy. Dixon Cider, what's up? Officer down. I'm stuck on a Zoom call during this stream. I need to take. And we got, I'm on a stupid work call for the stream, Weezy. I need to take your job and shove it parlay to quit this place. Well, that's down to 2 legs, I think, right now. The take this job and shove it parlay. Dushko Todorovic by KO, Nascimento by sub, and Blanchfield by decision on Bet Rivers Sportsbook that comes out to plus 6,703. Todorovic KO, Nascimento sub, Blanchfield decision. There you go. Yeah, that Gus KO was going to be live, but I'm going to suggest that we cashed it. So I'm going to email my book and be like, You owe me 1.7 units because I had 1 unit on that. We got Adam DeLuca in the room saying, welcome back, Weezy. What's up, Adam? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got CDL in the room saying, oi, this card's going to be a shit show. When they talk about bankroll management, it's for cards like this. I'll put the Greasy 4-legger in and move to next week and don't even track it. Just put it in, and if it hits, and we win some money. We got fellow Chad in the room saying, yo, folks, I'm new to sports betting. Any advice or safe picks on the upcoming card? Just out here trying to turn lunch money into rent. Yeah, I would wait till next week, fellow Chad. Like one of the sports betting advice that I could give you that is the best day one advice is to know how much you have to gamble with. And then that is in your accounts. And then you're using that as your bankroll, and you use unit system, which is 1 unit equals 1% of your bankroll. So if you got $1,000 to play with, a 1 unit bet for you is $10, and you want to stay usually under 10 units per card. You want to pick your spots, you want to hit them hard, and that's how you exercise what we call in this business good bankroll management. It means that you're gonna be able to survive down streaks, and when up streaks do come, you're gonna be able to take some money out and have some fun with it and spend that money. So good bankroll management is the day one best advice that anyone can give a beginning gambler. We got Jacob Cole saying time to smoke. Let's go. Adam saying, I feel a lot of finishes coming again this week. Well, we got the small cage in the apex, so we do usually see a little more finishes in that case. We got Jake Edwards saying, Uncle Weezy, save us, please. I wish I could. I wish I could save everybody here, but this card, I can't save you guys from this card. I can't do it. Sorry. Literally no worse card to try that out on this one, says Sped MMA Enjoyer, and I agree with him on that. And we got Jeff K in the room saying, just left work. Perfect. My man from Chicago there hanging out with us. We got Pro Schmo Bet saying, Weezy, baby, the key to the ladies. Let's go, Pro Schmo. Good to see you hanging out in here, my man. Appreciate you, brother. We got Alvaraj in the room saying, finally, let's go, man. We got Jake saying, we need picks. We got Alvaraj saying, Uncle Weezy, we all love you. Appreciate you, my man. We got Uncle Weezy, my ninja, says my guy Pro Schmo Bets. We got Alvaraj saying, oi. We got Jacob saying, uh-oh, my girl's stripping below the horn. Oh, hey. Get in there, my man. We got Brendan Knox saying the best show on YouTube. Excited all week for this. Appreciate you hanging out, Brendan. We got Dixon saying, Nascimento misses weight again. Yup. Why doesn't he just move up? Dude, I don't know. That's what I was asking. Like, why do I know that he's a bantamweight? Like, I sit in front of a computer all day and put together spreadsheets and write fights up and watch tape. And like, I'm not a professional. I've never been in the cage. I'm not a nutrition expert, but I know the guy's not a flyweight. How do I know that? And none of the professionals around him know that, or at least they can't convince him of that. We got Jay saying, help us, Weezy. The scale was looking minus 500 today, man. We got Alvarez saying, we missed you a lot. Well, I'm back for this week, you guys. We got Brendan saying Barber looked like death. Yeah, man. She had a rough cut, dude. She had a rough cut. Perhaps Trevin can find an occupation in DoorDash. He does not need to do that, man. He is a police officer. Officer Giles has got a job so that he'll be able to go to after he gets cut. We got John Koch in the room saying, first time catching it live. Great show, Weezy. Appreciate you, John. Thanks for being in here. We got Fob saying Blanchfield off inside the distance. Oh, yeah. We got Farang Love saying fresh from the basement with picks. What is up, Farang? We got Olajuwon saying, oi. We got Avaraj saying, oi. We got saying, Uncle, is this the car we can make money? Nope. Let's wait. We got Dixon saying, Giles said, let me get CTE from this sink instead of Gustafson. CTE is CTE. You might as well get paid to get it. You didn't get paid to get CTA from the sink. That's unfortunate. We got Sped saying Jalen Giles actually got KO'd by a gust of wind. It finally happened. I was worried about his chin. We got Weezy is hilarious, says TT in the room. We got Gus B saying, hail Weezy. We got Alvaraj saying, please, Uncle, let's continue with the prediction. Let's get it. We got Roger in the room, one of my people on the Odds Shopper. Appreciate you. We got Shady in the room. What is up, Shady? Good to see you hanging out here. Slips and Rips saying, oi. We got Yen Lin saying, oi. What is up, Yen? We got Milkman saying, give your Uncle Weezy money now. ESPN Plus has been robbing him. Yeah, man. Give me money. Where's my sign? I don't have my sign in here, so none of you are going to give me money. God damn it. I guess it'll be like every other week. We got Gus saying fight doesn't go to decision means FTGTG means fight doesn't go to decision. So when you see this on the screen, it means that the line for the fight doesn't go to decision is plus 200 here. So, and plus 200 means a 33% implied probability. Let's see here. Where are we? There we go. We got Flo in the room saying, oi. We got Will saying, regardless, that orange hair does look good on Rayanne. We got DFS by the numbers. My guy Brady saying, officer down, cash that Gus KO prop. Dude, I had it for 1 unit at plus 170. I think Brady had it for 1.5 units at like plus 185. So, yeah, the best cappers in the world, I'm cashing on that Gus prop. So good on Brady, good on me here. Pickle Kush saying, how about ESPN Plus scrubbing the UFC on-demand library? Made research a pain in the ass. Yeah, I mean, how about we scrub ESPN Plus from the annals of the UFC history forever? You know, I mean, how dare they do that? How dare they have a contract with UFC Fight Pass saying we can't watch fights on UFC Fight Pass for 1 year, and then they have the fucking audacity to not let us watch those fights that we're contractually we cannot watch on the fucking platform that we want to be on, and then they don't even offer it on their platform. And now we all got to go to Watch MMA Full and get viruses on our computers with all the fucking pop-ups that are on that site. So yeah, ESPN Plus, trash product, trash corporation, and an absolute trash decision by the UFC to do business with that group of woke losers. So fuck ESPN Plus right in the ear. They can cram it with walnuts. We got Flo saying, smash that like, subscribe, and sign up for the best UFC product for the money. And Flo knows. Flo knows, man. He knows. He's one of the people that does support me on the Odds Shopper. And it's not you're just supporting me to give me money for free. You're getting really one of the most phenomenal products, you know, that includes the fight write-ups, that includes the stats packages I send out 2 weeks in advance every time. That includes Balls Deep Breakdowns, a 2-hour show that has the most in-depth breakdowns basically out there on the web right now. Probability, you know, one of the most data-driven prop betting shows that's available on the market right now. You get access to all my track bets. You get access to my Discord. It's a really phenomenal product for only $25 a month. Shady saying that he's got 2 shitty money line bets on this card. I don't like this card, brother. I'll wait with structure and discipline, and that's the people that last are doing that this week, Shady. I had 4 units on this card, and I think now it's down to 3. Yeah, it's down to 3, I think. Might even be 2.5. Dude, it's so bad. Uncle Weezy making Fridays great again. What's up, Forrest? Good to see you hanging out in here. Azuro saying this is a lame card, but Uncle Weezy's gonna make it fun. I did my best, man. I did my best. We got SF in the room saying I thought it was just me who couldn't watch any old fights on ESPN Plus. So annoying. It's a horrible product. We got JMO in the room saying let's go. A bit late, but here we got Gus B saying Levitt is a poofter. He's a married man with kids, so I don't think he is. We got Benino in the room saying, "Oi, what's up, Unc? Good to see Benino hanging out in here." We got Rendog, one of my people on the Odds Shopper, saying, "Oi." We got Pickle Kush saying at SF, everything I've read, it's everybody. The assumption is it's related to negotiation between ESPN and UFC. Yep. And we got Forrest Daniel saying, smash that like button and subscribe, you filthy animals. We got Bradley saying, how accurate are the UFC's fight stats? oftentimes I feel, at least in the striking numbers, some fights are too low and some go way too high. Yeah, we get what they give us. I have no idea who the statisticians are over there and what kind of work goes into compiling the stats in terms of how do you especially on the ground and on the clinch, how do you differentiate a significant strike from a non-significant strike? There's a lot of questions there, and then there's some errors in the data entry that I've found on UFC stats as well. We got my guy Mushroom checking in from Philly saying, "What's up, Unc? Sneak watching at work to support." And we got he's saying to eat a dick to Shady, my guy Shady, you in there. We got Forrest saying Levitt post-fight twerk is coming. I think he's done twerking, actually. We got Ernie saying Levitt likes to lay down on his opponents. Weird style. I don't know what to think of it. Well, I mean, he's a wrestler, and he's a big grappler, obviously. He loves to get that Brazilian jiu-jitsu going and look for submissions from every position. We got Will saying Michael Jordan Levitt is a legend. He might be at this week, because just old Stone Hips Holubah has had a really rough time stuffing takedowns, man. Slips and Rips saying Bet Online has round scorecard finish only money line. Maybe play Kurt round 3 scorecard finish only. Yeah, maybe not a bad idea. Slips and Rips should be dropping the line soon. Pickle Kush saying, yeah, that makes sense. I guess this means they're not renewing with them. I hope not, man. I hope not. Will saying Hump Man. We got Dixon saying, Weezy, how you feel about a Barber plus 9.5 spread as a parlay piece? Minus 225. I don't know, man. I just didn't like what I saw from her on the scale after this long of a layoff. Health problems. I mean, did she get breast implants? I heard people saying like she might have gotten breast implants. I don't know, man. I think Blanchfield might even finish her here. We'll see, but it's going to be tough. I mean, both these ladies are extremely durable, so I do think it goes to decision. I'm picking a decision for Blanchfield, but I'm not playing anything on that fight. That's a lot of pullouts. Yeah, it's a ton of pullouts, Frank. What are you supposed to do about it? I mean, that's why I'm picking Filio. We got Buster Cherry in the room. What's up, Buster? Good to see you hanging out in here saying, oi. We got Pro Schmo saying, let's go, Weezy. We got Shady saying, Mushroom, cook your... it's good to see Mushroom and my guy Shady hanging out in here, man. Two of my favorites in the community. We got my guy Josh Fan Guy saying, Extreme Couture Reese isn't losing to that bum. We got Farang saying, next fight, Z. And we got at Pro Schmo Bets, I see my G. We got Fob saying, is it true that Gustafsson got his debut canceled for the 3rd time in a row? I don't think it's the 3rd time in a row because Gustafsson had to pull out of a fight. He was supposed to fight in January, and he got a neck injury. So he had to pull out of a fight. So it wasn't like it was. So I guess that was a cancellation, but it was on Gus. But I don't think it's the 3rd. I think it was only the 2nd. We got Mike McLaughlin in the room with a good-looking dog there saying you. We got Elias Blunt saying Dushko is going to get killed in the 3rd strike Tukin. We got Joseph saying didn't see it. Dushko is absolute garbage. We got Joseph saying Dushko looked hurt already in the pre-fight interviews. We got if Reese loses this fight, then he is definitely not UFC material. Dushko has that Serbian fight IQ. He will find a way to lose. We got McLaughlin says Pro Schmo Bets. We got Vieira by decision at plus 175. Yeah, I mean, I think if she wins, she probably wins by decision. We got Joseph saying, I don't like much finishing upside on her. Seems like value for a 50-50 fight. We got Josh saying Lorenzo Lamas versus Justin Bieber. Yes, sir. Aaron handling Rose is all I needed to see. She lost the first 2 rounds of that fight, but she won the last 3. The 4th round was close, but the 3rd and the 5th weren't. We got Enlightened My Opinion saying, oi, from Illinois, Weezy, love a good girl fight. There are a few good ones on this card, man. Macy versus Vieira is a high-level fight, and so is Barber versus Blanchfield. I mean, like the first fight, not so much. Big bet on Chase on at minus 115, says Shady. I agree. I think Chase on's going to win. Bruno's going to try to clinch here. Small cage is a factor. Jacob likes Brahimai here. Odds on Ramiz Billy fight make absolutely no sense. It's an extremely wide line. It really is, man. There's no doubt about it. I like Goff, but the line is insane. I agree with you, man. I really do. We got Pro Schmo saying it's Mikey here, my G. We got Joe saying Ramiz is a smart fighter. If he can get a position, he'll hold on to it or can even finish. Yeah, he could potentially do that. We got can't pass Brahimaj's odds. Yeah, take a shot, man. It's a big plus money shot. And it's not like Goff is some world beater or is like one takedown, it's the fight, or it touches you once and you're in the hospital. So he could wind up getting a win here. Joe saying never been finished, but he slows down big time. He does slow down, and that could be a problem against somebody like Goff, who just never fucks off. Probably round one or bust. That was 10 times worse than Tyson biting Holyfield. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I don't know where I was in the show at that point. I don't see him being able to get takedowns late in the fight against Goff. I don't either. That sounds like Shady's favorite kind of saw, dick saw. Can I get a definition for the word dick saw? Well, if you run into a dick saw, it's a bad day. I mean, I don't know how you could really think that it's anything but what it is, a dick saw. Yeah, you run into a dick saw, you had a rough one, rough day at the office. Klein by decision at plus 300 doesn't make sense. I agree. I don't think he's going to finish Mateusz Gamrot. I think most of his win equity here is with the decision, and Gamrot fights on extremely thin margins. So I think that Klein by decision at plus 300 is a great play to me. Yep. Not when your bet doesn't hit. Well, if it doesn't hit, then it doesn't hit. But plus 300 is a great play at 25% implied probability for a guy that fights on as thin of margins as Gamrot, for a guy that gets rocked as often as he does, and for a guy that frankly doesn't do a ton of damage from top control when he does get it. So I think it's going to be a close fight. We got Joe saying, I mean, Klein hasn't finished anyone in 5 years. Seems like a closely lined decision. If Dariush handed him the L, then Klein definitely has a chance for a decision win. Not bad value. You're right. Klein has BES. Klein has beaten bums. Yeah, I mean, but Ignacio is a good win. Tiago is a solid win, but this would obviously be by far the best win of his career by a mile. We got Joe saying, I mean, I favor Gamrot, but I don't see a finish. So if he wins a few exchanges, he's probably live. Weezy World Order says Lazy Bed. Good to see you hanging out in here. Yeah, people don't seem to realize just how big a step up in competition this is for Klein. It really is. He's the worst fighter Gamrot has faced in years, and Gamrot is an American top team guy. Klein trains with nobodies. That's all true. Bahamondes isn't a bum, and Gamrot has been getting dropped in every fight in his last 5. That's true as well. Bahamondes is definitely more of a newcomer in 2023. Starting the stream from the beginning so I could hear the Uncle Weezy song. We got Bradley saying Uncle Weezy pulling out the Texas Instruments, the BA2 Plus, ladies and gentlemen. This is the calculator you have to use when you're an actuarial science student, because it doesn't have certain capabilities built into it where you could cheat on like statistics exams or actuarial science exams. So it's like a shitty calculator, but you learn how to use it. Like when you're taking actuarial exams, you actually have to use this calculator. So you just learn how to use it like it's your life. And because of that, because I passed 3 actuarial exams and I still have this thing, and it's still my go-to calculator, unless I'm actually trying to do something like calculus related, which I'll actually go and get. I've got like a really nice calculator for that, when I need to do anything calculus related or anything like that. So we got Gonzalo Jimenez in the room saying Blanchfield striking sucks. It's not that bad. We got Exclusive saying, will these fighters answer these unanswered questions? Tune in tomorrow to find out. Let's go. Gonzalo says, Todorovic, no way. I get it, man. I mean, I know people don't like Todorovic, but when you look at who the best win on Zach Reese's record is, Todorovic would be the best win. on his resume if he got it. You know, I mean, like it's Julian Marquez, you guys, and he landed one punch there. So yeah, I don't think Reese has got a lot to prove. He's got terrible takedown defense. He's really willing to stay on his back, and his durability is just as bad as Todorovich's. So I think the line is way too wide. Weezy, I just found out that Bonnie Blue opened applications for her new challenge to sleep with 2,000 men in one day. Curious if you were aware and if you'll be applying. Nah, man, I won't be doing that. I'm not going to be doing that. Sloppy seconds are worse. Sloppy seconds are bad. Sloppy 1,933rds, not going to be a part of it, man. Like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. Don't worry, you'll be allowed to mask. Will I really? Oh, that's fantastic. We got Josh laughing. We got Achromatic saying Weezy Chaos has an opponent. He does. So we're it's not going to be Here, let me look. I'll go look and see who they got for Chaos. Is it next week or was it 2 weeks out? Albert Tadavosian out of Armenia. But it looks like he fights out of the Pacific Northwest. Albizi. So Weezy is picking Albizi to win this fight. Let's see. Yerevan, Armenia, stand up, and Highline Community College stand up, fighting out of Renton, Washington. A win over LJ Porte in UNF, a win over Mike Hill in COGA Combat Games. He fought in WFC. He fought in CES. Got a loss to Justin Sumter. Got a loss to Ben Fodor. Yeah, so he has a so the guy's got a decent amount of experience, and he's on a 6-fight win streak. So, but yeah, that is a tough order, man. Taking a fight on short notice against Chaos Williams. So Albert Tadavosian is going to be the guy fighting Chaos now. Milkman saying my meeting finished just in time for the ass shaving. Let's go. All right, Chaos already has a new opponent. Okay. Barber will defy all logic. It could happen. I mean, like, I like Barber. I was considering betting her, actually. But now, with the weight cut, that's, because there's already too much going on with the long layoff and the health problems that she was having. Get some help, Bet Rivers. Who missed weight, says AW. So both Chason and Vieira agreed to have the fight at 145 instead of 135. Nascimento missed weight. Barber missed weight, and Giles fell down and couldn't get back up. Guernica saying, Giles, I had him getting piped in a parlay. So did I, Guernica. What the hell is going on here, man? We got Marcel in the room saying, give Uncle Weezy money now. That's the best thing to do. I appreciate you, Marcel. We got Gus B saying, oh, what is up, Gus? Good to see you hanging out in here. Farang saying, you going all in on Hamzat before the line moves? No, I'm not. I'll be at that fight in Chicago. That's the Chicago card. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one yet, but Drickus just always finds a way to win. So what's the final say, says my guy? Yes. What is up? Yes. Hopefully you're with the band. Yes. The Tales of Topographic Oceans, one of the great psychedelic albums of all time. John Anderson from Yes in the chat. What's up, dude? We got Farang Love saying, first you get the parlay money, then you get the power, then you get the women. That is absolutely right, Farang. Nacho saying, what's a 3-pick money line you feel confident about? 3 money lines that I think cash. Jacoby, Blanchfield, and then I'd go with Chazon. Jacoby, Blanchfield, and Chazon. Dixon saying, Weezy, the world is officially coming to an end because the UFC has just officially listed and grouped all their power slap competitors as athletes mixed in with their UFC roster. Yeah, I mean, like, who fucking cares? Power slap. I'll just delete them. Dizzy is saying that shove it could hit. but I don't like Nascimento in this one. Yeah, you know, one of the reasons I put that in there was just because I was having a hard time finding a big number, but I feel like Nascimento by submission is a big part of his win condition. And that line, Dizzy's, is sitting at almost plus 500, which indicates like a 16% implied probability when I think it's most of his win probability. So his win probability at the current line is sitting at about 55%. So I kind of feel like getting it at 16% is just a value play. I'm picking Filio to win the fight, but at Nascimento by submission at plus 480 is a huge number. So that's why it's in the parlay. You know, we're trying to hit big. We don't necessarily always think that those are the exact ways that fights are going to end, but we can say that there's a lot of value in that particular price. Fernie's saying, it's been a while, Uncle Weezy. How you doing? A week without UFC is like a year without it. Welcome back and have a great weekend. Thanks. Appreciate you, Fernie. We got Mark saying, Uncle Weezy has spoken. Time to play some bets. Let's go. We got David Lembas in the room saying, back at it. Greeting from one of your nephews. Your uncle loves you, David. Thank you for hanging out here, my man. Dixon saying, Weezy, I know we joked around about Giles being a detective, but actually he's a sergeant. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah, so he's been around for a minute then. We got Squeaky Puff saying, did a raindrop fall on Giles' head and put him into a coma? Dude, when you're cutting weight like that, dude, anything can happen, man. And Giles took the fight on short notice, so he probably had a lot of weight to cut in a very short period of time, and he probably just went down like a sack of potatoes at some point. All kidding aside, man, these guys fucking kill themselves to try to make weight, and that's why you see so many pullouts on fight week because of illnesses. You see a lot of guys getting food poisoning. You know, you think about your life, right? How many times have you gotten food poisoning? I'm literally 51 years old. I've never had food poisoning, right? So, you know, like, is it just bad luck that Joe Pyfer gets sick the night before the fight? Is it just bad luck that these guys pull out? You know, Brian Ortega, all these guys that have been pulling out like after they weigh in, you know, it's not bad luck. Their fucking body, they take it to the brink of death. They take all the fluids out of their body, everything, their body's starving for the shit that it needs in order to be able to operate and live. And that's why some of these, Jake Hadley was saying that he was seeing God while he was cutting weight. I mean, that's not good. I'm not a doctor, but if you're seeing God, it means you're close to fucking dying. So, yeah, Giles cut a ton of weight in a short period of time, and it probably almost fucking killed him. We got Milkman saying, I read the UFC is going back to ESPN. I know they better not, man. If they do, I'm going to cancel my subscription. I'm going to steal everything. I'm not giving that corporation one more dime of my money. And I'm going to encourage that everybody else does the exact same thing. If the UFC wants to go with that dog shit organization for providing their great product to their great fans should say, fuck you for doing that. And now we're going to make you pay for fucking us over by picking the worst possible provider that you could pick. Why not pick a provider that just openly fucking hates us? You know, do you think that these people at Disney Corporation are aligned with anything that mixed martial arts fans believe? No. So why are they doing this to us? So we can listen to Jamel Hill? Are we going to put Jamel Hill cage side and talk about, you know, white supremacy for the next 2 years while whatever this contract length is? No thanks. Fucking ankle these losers. They're a bunch of dicks. We got my guy Martin in the room saying greetings from Mykonos. He's in the right place. This guy knows how to party. My guy Martin Dermov, Bulgaria, stand up. My guy Martin's the man. Enjoy beautiful Mykonos, my man. You're on a beautiful island there. There are some very hot semi-clothed women in Mykonos, Greece. You got that right. That's correct, Weezy. If Barber didn't have breast implants, she would have made weight. That could be. Fernie saying, Uncle Weezy, how can I make a donation to your show? By Zelle? I've got my I think I'm on Zelle, but I've got my Cash App. If you have Cash App, the link to my Cash App is in the description of the video. And I should put my PayPal in there too, in case you do that. But you can always holler at me on Twitter if you need information to send a donation. If you can't do it, on something like PayPal or Zelle. Or if you want to, support the Odd Shopper community for only $12.50 for your first month, click on the link in the description of the video, and you'll get all my stats, you'll get all my picks, you'll get all of the 4 hours worth of content that I do weekly for the people who sign up. So that'd be the best way to support the work. But if you have Cash App, there's a link that you can donate in the description of the video. Sign up for the Odd Shopper at Fernie Weezy. Post a link in the chat right now for us. Yeah, actually, let me do that. Where is that link? Here, let me get it for you guys here, just real quick. Oh, man. Ooh. It's a greasy card, you guys. I am not going to be heavy on it. I'm not going to be heavy on it at all. But, I think that this Greasy 4-leg parlay's got a good chance to hit this week. So let me copy that link for you guys, and there we go. There we go. It's in the link. It's in there for you guys there. Thank you. AW saying Alice plus 3.5 will feed your seed for generations. I think that probably does hit, actually. Gary Copeland in the room saying, "Oi, I'm late, but I'm here on." Good to see Gary Copeland hanging out. Are you working this Saturday, Gary? You in Vegas for these fights? We got AWMD saying Klein by KO. Easy money, Weezy. That would be a big hit because Klein is an underdog and his decision prop is plus 300. So the Klein KO would pay. We got LOL at Texas. We got Shady in the room saying OG Weezy. Justin Cash saying Gamrock gonna clap Klein's cheeks. We got Miguel Saucedo saying, "Hey Weezy, big fan. Whose asshole would you rather smell, Macy or Aaron's?" Not really into smelling assholes, so I'm gonna say neither. We got Real Sports Bet Picks in the room saying easy money. What is up, dude? Good to see you hanging out in here. We got Armenia, let's go, says the Fightful Gary O'Killian. We got Fightful saying highest Stan, let's go. Brad Utterston saying you're the man, Uncle Weezy the juice. We got Dixon saying Weezy, real quick sanity check before we go. Is it just me or does Dusko low-key kind of look like Dustin Poirier a bit? I was saying that, like, if you were to get tattoo removal and shave the head of Macy Chase on, that she would look almost identical to Dusko Todorovic. That's what, like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen those two in the same room at the same time before. But like Dusko Todorovic might be cosplaying as a women's mixed martial artist in the bantamweight division as Macy Chase on, but you can't tell because Macy's got the hair and the tattoos, but maybe they're fake tattoos. I mean, I don't know, man. I think some of these fighters do look alike. But look, he is fighting. Filio is a BJJ ace. Is going to be hard to tap him for sure. Once we got Steve W saying definitely bad luck. 33. I've had food poisoning numerous times. Really? No shit. 3 times just last year. That's wild, man. I know my dad got it once. He missed 1 day of work when I was a kid, and like he got food poisoning so bad that he couldn't even get out of bed. And that was wild, because I'd never seen my dad sick ever. So I know that when you get it, it's bad. But like, what are the odds that you're going to get it the night before a fight? I mean, it's 1,000,000 to 1 probably. Just regularly, So I think that it's really not. Oftentimes, it's not food poisoning. They think it's food poisoning, but it's just your body rebelling from taking it to the brink of death. One time, I got food poisoning in my life when I was stuffed my face with all-you-can-eat tilapia fillets on a beach in El Salvador. It was back in like 2003. Last time I ever ate fish. Wow. Impossible to get food poisoning from deep dish. Chicago diet pays off. No, Gary might know about that. Yeah, man. In Chicago, we got really good food, so maybe that's why I've never had food poisoning. We got my guy Chinova7 saying good luck this weekend. Good to see you hanging out in here, brother. I hope all is well with you. We got Sloppy Seconds down the hallway. Yeah. we got Fightful saying Dusko chicks. Gary saying not in Vegas, but we'll be there in Chicago for 319. Hell yeah, man. Gary, welcome to Chicago when you do come. Can't wait for that event. I'm going to be there, man. Really? Chicago deep dish home? You make your own, dude? Are you a Chicago guy? Because I see you in that picture there that you got the Chicago Bears sweatshirt on, and it looks like a Sox hat. It's definitely the colors of a Sox hat. So it looks like Gabriel might be a Chicago guy. But yeah, Chicago deep dish is phenomenal. It's been a minute since I've had it. So I got to get over to my old employment place at Lou Malnati's there and have a pizza, man. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, I'm sure it's just like it's like a petri dish down there, man. I mean, like if you're banging her on the same day that she bangs 200 other dudes, I mean, you're just a sick individual. Yup, homemade. Live in LA. Used to live in New York with Aldro Sterling and Al Iaquinta. That's pretty cool, man. Nice work, dude. But okay, LA. Yeah. So you've been bi-coastal then. My guy Marcus Williams in the room, Nubian Bookstore, stand up saying, I love Gamrot to make easy work of Klein, easy money. It's the cheapest price that we've seen Mateusz Gamrot at for a very long time. Not since he was like around to pick him against, let me get my fight write-ups here. Plus 109 against Fiziev. That's the last time we've seen him at this cheap of a price. The last 4 times, Hooker minus 420, Dos Anjos minus 415, Turner minus 200, Dariush minus 250. And that's the easiest opponent out of all 4 of those guys. And you're getting them now at minus 150 instead of, minus 200, minus 400. So, yeah, I get why people are on Gamrot. I'm picking them to win. I'm just not laying the juice on them this week. Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to be doing a little bit more content for free on YouTube that's going to be promoting my probability stats and content package. I just got, it looks like a finished product right now for a full fight breakdown where I can feed my my spreadsheet that I send out to my odd shopper people into a web developer that will spit out a presentation that has several tabs, like at least 12, that will take you through all the important parts of a fight. That's how I'm going to be breaking down fights from now on Balls Deep Breakdowns for my odd shopper community. And I want to be doing 1 fight a week for free on the internet so that you guys can see what my product is, why it's so beneficial to sign up for it, and why it's one of the best values out there in the entire community right now. Join me, join us. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks together. UFC Vegas 107, kind of a shady card. We got the UFC pay-per-view card coming up next week, headlined by Dvalishvili versus O'Malley. Let's keep our powder dry until then. Let's keep it nice and light on this card, and then we strike like a cobra next week, looking to bring down some serious units. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you for all of you that are on the odd shopper community out there making work like this possible. And I'll see you early next week with a balls deep breakdown on one of these fights where I have a bet, and you'll be able to take a look at the new and improved Balls Deep Breakdowns show, which will be premiering next week on the Odd Shopper platform. So you guys, thank you so much for your support. Good luck on all your bets for UFC Vegas 107, and we'll see you next week for the UFC pay-per-view. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.